All right. Good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Get your coffee ready. I don't know where you're from, where you are in the country, in the world, on the earth, but it's 6 a.m. where I live. Sun is just coming up, so we're going to start the day. We're going to hopefully start the day with some good practice, good mindset, good energy for the day. Welcome everybody, and get your questions in. Today we're talking about hitting more fairways with your driver, and obviously short game practice. So, and any other questions you might have, we'll try to tackle those as we go. So, nothing's off limits today. It's all fair game. If you've watched any of my recent on-course stuff, I played. I have one that just went up at Pelican Hill, and a lot of you have commented about just how many fairways I hit. I hit like I hit driver every hole, and I hit 11 out of 14 fairways. And then I played a couple days. No, I played the next day somewhere else, and I hit 12 out of 14 fairways, and that's pretty normal for me these days. So I want to talk a lot about driver, just hitting fairways, how to do that consistently, and what kind of the process I go through, and we'll go through that. So obviously, for me, when I get to the course, I do a little warm up, and I never swing full out. Never swing 100% while I'm warming up. I just do 3/4 stuff. And honestly, sometimes I'll warm up. I won't even hit my driver because I don't want a full swing. I don't want to go to that first tee with, feeling totally loose and ready to go. I want it to be a little bit, I don't want to say tight, but I just want to be not 100% on my swing. And so if I'm at the range and I'm warming up and I'm really crushing it, then sometimes I get to that first tee and I just feel like, great, I can really go after this. And it just doesn't work out for me. So I like to warm up, when I'm warming up, this is kind of hopefully, my driver swing, just a 3/4 swing when I warm up. And then when I hit that first tee, I'm really just going to what they call, obviously, a lot of people talk about the go-to shot, whatever it is for you. Wherever you feel like you could hit the fairway, and I'm never thinking how far I could hit it on that first hole. I'm always thinking, just place that thing in the fairway anywhere. I'll get length, right? I don't need to birdie the first hole. I know it's tough. Sometimes it's a short par 5 you could reach into. Still, you don't have to worry about it. Don't try to score on the first few holes with your driver. If you end up with a short putt, yeah, you're going to want to dial those in. But my mindset on the first hole, the first 3-4 holes is just baby this thing in the fairway somehow, some way. So I'm just thinking, here are my hands right here on that first hole, the front 9 even, just right here, 3/4, and hopefully, I can be calm enough to get there. And that's another thing we always have to battle, is how to stay calm and relaxed, because that's going to get you on that first tee. But if I know I'm not worried about anything but just cutting this thing in the fairway, we're good. And then typically I have one swing thought. So for me, my swing thought is, from here, I just want to drop that in here and kind of, what I say, come under that swing plane. So I'm just thinking about dropping the hands in here and coming from underneath is, for me, my mindset. And that way, I can really turn and rotate and not have to worry about the ball going left. And if anything, it'll go a little right. So I try to aim for like a little cut on that first hole. And I'm just here, and I'm just thinking, come underneath that direction. That's my one swing thought. And so the drills I do for that are with my wedges. So I'll do wedge drills to help my driver swing, okay? Because this is where you're gonna have the greatest opportunity for, let's say, changing your golf swing or working on your golf swing is going to be with your wedges, right? So if I really wanna come under that plane, I'm taking this stick, this alignment stick, and just holding it onto the shaft here, taking it back, and then I'm watching that stick drop, like, you know, parallel to the ground here. I really want to see that right here. And that's just my drill. Short little swings, like that. This is really, you know, I'm working on my driver swing with a wedge. It's just so much easier to hit shots and be able to. I just totally sent that through my net into my neighbor's yard. It just shot right through. They're luckily they're doing construction on their house. They sold it and moved out. This really helps me learn how to flight the ball lower with my wedges too. So that's a good drill for you. Another thing, so I got a swing the other day. I'm working on a video, it should be out this week. This guy Mike sent me his swing to analyze, and wanted me, you know, it's gonna be, I'm putting together a video for him, and I'll share it with everybody. But yeah, he has a great swing, but he shoots like 120 or something like that. One of the things I want to point out when you're doing this drill, okay, your hands are forced to be kind of more forward. So then when you get rid of that, I want, you know, I want to make sure my hands back up to the center. That's where I like them. I don't want to start here, okay? You can get there as you hit. That would be some forward shaft lean. But if you start here, you're going to have a lot of tendencies to get in all kinds of bad situations. Like you can lead with that heel of the club, and that's just going to equal a shank. Same thing with your driver. So setup, here's my setup drill for my driver. Okay, I wanted that ball off my left ear, all right? Feet shoulder width apart, ball on my left ear, and then I'm just gonna take the club, put it in the center of my body, and grip it. Right in the belly button, and then grip the club. Then extend straight out, right? Then come down. Now the club's way behind the ball. I mean, who cares, right? I'm not gonna hit the ball back there. The ball's gonna stay right there, but this is just where I wanna set up. Now, if I want the club to move right behind the ball, which you don't have to, there's no law saying you have to set up here, but then instead of moving my hands forward to get there, that's what a lot of us do, we move everything forward here. I don't wanna do that. I just want a little right lateral bend, they call it. Just tilt down, tilt that shoulder a little bit, and those hands, just keep them, everything moving together, and it comes forward. And that should be a great driver setup. The hands look forward, but they're really centered. They're really here in the center. I bent my body this way so they move forward, and that's gonna help you hit a little draw. It'll help you come from the inside a little bit and move forward and get a little more height on that. So that's kind of my driver, let's say, setup routine. What I see is a lot of people have driver issues. I mean, they're out here like this. I see this all the time. You know, and then and then you're just going to come steep on the ball. You're going to lead with the heel. If you lead with the heel, you can shank a driver. You slice it way right. It's going to get you in all kinds of trouble. So just ball on the left ear, everything else in the center, and then just right lateral bend, just enough to get that club forward. Now, if that club's not moving forward, don't worry about it. You're just tilting a touch. You could set up with the club in the middle of your stance too, and still swing, which is not a bad way to go either. You know, because you're going to start releasing early, just mentally. Your mind's going to want to release the club at the center, which with your driver's fine, because then it starts traveling up after that, and that's what you want to get that baby draw. Is you want that club to start releasing, reach its bottom, and then start traveling up. So if you do have that on your left ear, your setup in the center, the club's in the center of your stance, you're mentally going to bottom out in the center. And that's what you want. And then it's going to slightly start coming up right after center of your swing, just because you set up with the club a few inches behind the ball. And that's going to help you. There's no rule that says we have to get that club nearly touching that ball on our setup. Let me fix this real quick. The sun's rising out here, so we got to adjust our cameras to get it a little better. There we go. Oops. I want to blow y'all out here. So, all right. You got any questions? Okay. What do you think? Okay, what do you think of the single plane swing? I think it's great. You know, you got to figure out what works best for you. You know, some people are that real single plane back here. It's great. That's Chad Campbell. Dude almost won on Sunday at the Barracuda. I don't know how many people were watching the Barracuda, but he's got, I've seen that guy hit balls in the range, and you'll hear people say he's one of the purest ball strikers on tour, believe it or not. And I would say he's got that single plane style swing. Obviously Bubba Watson, he's up here. It's a much different style swing. So you got to figure out what works best for you. For me, you know, I try to keep it as flat as possible, and that helps. I think with shorter players, this is just my theory, all right? When you're shorter, I'm a shorter person, so I think for shorter people, a single plane swing is really good. And for taller people, maybe the two plane swing would work better. It's not always true, but I found that when I strike the ball really well, people say, wow, you got a really flat swing. And I always looked at it, took it as a bad thing. And so I would, early in my game, I would start, well, change it. I got to get up here to really be like what they say. But when I have that flatter swing, I hit fairway after fairway after fairway, and the distance is pretty good. It's really good. So I'm happy with that. All right. Nice round with Jerry. 3 over. I went to Puerto Rico. Awesome. So you know the guy. Maybe you know Jerry. Okay. Somebody was asking about single length irons. You know, I've hit those. At the PGA show in Orlando? What is it? Puma had the single length irons, and they're interesting. They're all 6 iron length, I believe, either 6 or 7 iron length. So I have a 6 right here. For me, it's a little odd to hit a wedge that's this long, and look at my wedge. You know, so I'd be hitting the wedge. I'm just not comfortable with that. So again, you've got to be used to it. Now Bryson, he's obviously a interesting analytical guy, so you know he's doing what works for him, right? And so I'm 100% with that. Whatever is best for you, whatever you feel best with, however you could play the best, I would say, you know, go that direction. Stay with that. All right, somebody's asking how to hit a slice or fade. Okay, this is good. I'm going to talk about this a little bit. So if you notice, I want you to go watch my Pelican Hill round. Now, I was noticing a lot of the time with my driver, well, with a lot of my shots, I have a tendency to aim to, I don't know when to say aim, I set up a little closed with my feet. So it looks like my feet are aiming a little too far right. And then I hit a little draw. I was hitting a little draw most of the time. And when I wanted to play a fade, for me, I still did the same setup, but I just pulled my hands to the left a little bit. And I hit a number of good little fades. Where I feel like I'm coming here and I'm getting my front hand into my left pocket. And that's me for a fade. You know, it might be hard to see on video, but the feeling I have is that I'm here and I'm thinking, get my hands in my left pocket without doing this. So I'm coming around, and really at this point, I'm thinking, get this left hand over here into my left pocket. That's how I like to play a fade, because, and occasionally, yeah, I'll set up and aim my feet left and open the face. But for me, that's just specialty shots, usually with the 3-wood out of the fairway. The other ways, I typically just really try to rotate hard to the left and get that, that left hand. I still drop it down here. That's my swing thought. And then from here, I just know to kind of come toward my left pocket. That's how I was kind of taught that move back in college, and it just stuck with me. I really liked it. Because I feel like I'm hanging on to that club a little longer. And when I do that, I don't get the giant slices usually. I mean, sometimes. But you usually get a nice little cut. Is hopefully what happens. What else we got? All right. Ping blade or 7/16 AP2s? Great question. What do I have? I have the 7. So, okay. I don't know what your handicap is, Pat, but that's a good question. I used to play blades all the time. I mean, I had blades for years. And then about 3 years ago, 3 years ago, probably 3 years now, I switched to a cavity back, slight cavity back, because they're obviously more forgiving, and I prefer to have some margin for error. And I shoot, scratch golf, and I'm fine with that. But if you really like those blades, I would suggest hitting both and just going with the ones that look and feel the best for you. Because that's going to be, something that's you're going to stick around for a while, and you're going to want to, stay with that. All right, that's what I would go with. What looks the best this way, top down, and that you can hit consistently good. I don't play as much as I used to, so that's why I went to the cavity bag. If I was playing every day, I would probably go back to the blades. Just for me, because I can work the ball a lot more with that, left to right, right to left. Here's what I do on course, and don't be afraid to do this, all right? Get your alignment stick. If you're struggling with alignment or your shots, here's the first thing I do. I'm on course. If I'm just playing with my buddies, like, who cares if you do this? You're good. I'll just throw down an alignment stick. Boom. Okay. And there's two things we got to look at here when you're doing this. Very important, all right? One is, a lot of times, honestly, you know, I put it on this side of my ball. Okay, that's where I want my ball to go, right? Now, here's the other one. This is my foot line. Okay, put it back near where your feet are gonna be. Now on the course, you might not be able to get two of these down. It might take a little too long, but if you can, if you got a little bit of time, just throw two down. This is your ball line. Okay, and this second one here is just parallel to that, right? It matches. It's the same. It's not like this. It's not like this. It matches that line. Okay, this is something you could do on course. If you can. So this is where I want my ball to go, right? And I'm looking here, and I'm lining that guy up, eyeballing it with my club, shutting one eye. It's like aiming a bow and arrow, right? And I'm like, okay, so this is pointed here. So my ball should go right around here, right? That's where it's pointed, right there. Now, if you look, the foot one, that's pointed here. It's right here, right? So my foot line is here, my ball line is here. I'm like 8 yards away. So here, now I'm set up, right? I'm set up what they call square, which is exactly what you would really want. And I'm looking, you gotta practice this, and I'm looking at where my ball is going to start. This is why I'm so huge on net practice, because I can visually pick a spot right there. My head is looking there. Now, just think about this. Look 300 yards down the fairway. Or what are you aiming at? A lot of people aim at a mountain. That's I mean, 10,000 yards away, right? I mean, how far away is that if you're picking a mountain? But let's say it's a tree like 500 yards away. You're not looking over your shoulder. You know, you're looking out at an angle here a little bit. And so I like to practice at a net, just practice picking out where I'm looking, and it's just right there. So when I'm on course, my head should look up exactly the same. You know, I'm just looking out a lot farther. But can I start the ball right where I'm looking? That was perfect. Okay? So my ball started perfect. So, what are we getting at? When you're on course, this is what happens. Okay? So many of us do this. We get up and you know, people are like, okay. And you're aiming your feet and your body at where you're looking, okay? So you do that, right? No problem. That's, if you want to do that, right? And it's just a natural thing. You line up, so then get your stick down and match it up to your feet, right? I do this with my kids all the time. So I'm like, okay, shoulders, everything's pointed where I'm aiming, right there. Okay, perfect. So then I put that down, right there. Well, look at it. So now we get up there and we line up, we get our feet there and we line up. So, but now the problem is, where's my club aiming now? Okay. So I lined my body up to where I wanted to hit the ball, which is right here. Right? Same spot. But my club now, dude, that thing's pointed way over here. Okay? And this is why we get so jacked up. Because now we're aiming our body where we want to hit it. We're looking with our eyes where we want to hit it. But dude, our club is pointed, you know, it's 50 yards right of where I want to hit the ball, where I really want to hit it. It's not even close. So, a couple things are going to happen in this situation. See, your brain knows something's not right. It just says, dude, you are messed up right now, right? You're in trouble. So it knows you don't want to hit it there, 50 yards right. So you're going to flip those hands over whoosh, and duck hook the ball. That's one thing that could happen. Or you're going to come over the top because your body really wants to start the ball a lot farther left. So you're going to come over the top, it's going to start left, and then you're going to have this banana ball way to the right. All because you're really not setting, you're not aiming like it's not wrong. Like you're trying to aim your body where you want to hit it. Now that's why I say, put that alignment stick down on the course. Put it in front of you, okay? Where you want the ball to go. And then set up square to that. Okay, there. And then, right? And so my body, and even put another one if you can. Oh, you're like, oh my gosh. This is why when you go watch pros, you look at them and you're like, man, they're aiming so far left. Why do they aim so far left? They're not. They aim the face of their club, okay? And so you've always got to aim your club face where you want that ball to start off. And it's so much harder with the driver than a wedge, because this is real close to me, right? This is, you know, this is 1.5 feet closer. So it's a little bit easier. It's almost right over my eyes. So I'm not going to set up so far, but once it gets out here, then your body starts aiming farther and farther to the right, or, you know, to the wrong side. So set up that club, or set up that stick here out there. Let's say you're on the course and you only have one. This is a good way to go, okay? Just throw one down. Like, you're behind the ball, you just throw it down and say, guys, I'm just working on some stuff. No worries. You know, they're good. Just set it up. That's where I want the ball to start. Hit your shot. Okay? And then just say, okay. Then check. Say, this is where I was aimed. Okay. Then throw that down right there. And just walk behind it and check it out. Say, dude, okay. And it should be parallel. They should match. The lines should match up pretty good, right? But if you're like this, you know, and you walk behind it and you look at it, you're gonna be like, oh, okay. I see my body and my club are aiming at the same place, and you don't want that, right? You don't want that. You don't want your body and your club face aiming at the target. You want your club face aiming at the target, and then you want to be parallel to that, which will in reality be way left of the target. All right? Yeah. Yeah, one of you commented, Greg Norman, I mean, so aim the club face. Let me just adjust this camera here again. That's what we're doing. We're aiming the club face, not the body. And obviously, you know, it's in reverse too. Sometimes people aim the body too far left. So you want to check that and make sure you're parallel with your aim. Hey Matt, you're tipped to lean back slightly when chipping. Well, thanks, Rich. All right, since we're talking short game too, we'll talk about that. Yeah, I did a chipping video where you're hitting little chip shots, and then I talk about leaning backwards, like kind of like this as you chip. It's just a funny, it's just a feeling you want. See, a lot of people, they lean too far forward, like they're transferring their weight when they're chipping. So I'm like, dude, if you just kind of lean backwards as you chip, you don't want to your weight to fall backwards, put your weight on your front foot a little bit, and then just lean back a little bit. It helps you from digging in that front edge. Sometimes, you know, it's kind of like that right lateral bend that we're looking for, but sometimes with your chipping, you know, you just want to, this is your finish. And it will help you from if you stub and chunk a lot of shots, well, the camera's dark, I'll fix that. Leaning back a little bit here, it's kind of hard to keep your eye on the ball when you do that, but it's just a good drill to get, you know, to build confidence in your chipping. Really helpful. And also, if you're struggling chipping, a lot of times, what I would recommend is set up, okay, and just chip with your eyes closed a little bit. Just shut your eyes, and so you're not really worried about it, and just focus on this position here. Get to that finish position, and then just, because a lot of us have a little hiccup or so when we strike the ball, and we want to get rid of that. Just the sun comes up, so I have to adjust the cameras a little bit. And a lot of people, you know, they wonder, like, can you work on your short game off the mat? Yes. Yes, this is a very good way to do it, because you can tell whether you hit the ball first or the mat first. Okay, I'm not against hitting the mat first if your bounce angle is hitting the mat. But you can also hear the ball. You really can hear a great little click sound as you hit that. This is one of those, this is a tight lie that you would face on course, which are the hardest for chipping. So I'm not against practicing these. It's hard to go to the range and pay 10 bucks and chip the ball all the time. I get that. So try to get a mat. And mats are tricky because there's so many bad ones out there. It's hard to find a good mat. This is an old range mat. It's decent. Some of my videos, there's a link. I have a link. It's the My Gear link, which are some good mats. They get expensive, so you know, you might want to shop around, but the good ones are going to be a few $100s for you know, a 5x5 would be what you want. Some people don't like this because the taller people get out here and they're hitting driver and their foot comes off the mat, so they don't like the whatever shape this is. Octagon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, octagon. And so they get a nice square. 5x5 is pretty solid. Okay, yeah. Great. So yeah, Rich was just talking about the leaning back, because a lot of us, when we have a 60-degree wedge, you know, we could thin it. Now the leaning back might cause you to thin it, but if you're thinning it, try the lean back, see if it causes you to get that bounce working down first. You know, otherwise, you know, open up. Sometimes I open up quite a bit. I keep that face square. You just gotta be careful. I see people open up like this, and they turn their toes in. That's not really opening up. You wanna turn your feet together. You just don't turn your feet, right? That's not opened up, right? I didn't do anything. I just turned my feet open. You wanna kind of turn your whole body together. That's opening up, okay? And then I still keep the ball center. And I open up my left leg more than my right. Okay, that's more open to me than this. I don't like that. I keep one foot here. See, one foot fairly square, and the other one I open up. And just use this when I want a little more height on the ball. A little soft shot there. And those I'm typically hitting the bounce just before the ball. The bounce will hit first. I'm not against that. Always rotating. Always rotating. And if you have that too far forward in your stance, it's going to get you in trouble. You're going to thin that. Like I totally bounced way back here and thinned it. So you just be careful about, on some of those, your chip shots, getting that ball too far forward. Now, if if it's intentional, that's one thing, that's great. But if you think it's back, it's not gonna. That's why I always center the body, and then I open up, and then I'm still center, and then I'm just gonna rotate through that a little bit more. I just picked that one clean. Right? All right. So we're jamming. All right. Some short game drills for you. This is something I do right before I play. I don't think, it's not in the video of me playing Pelican, but I'll take my 60 or either my lob wedge or my sand wedge, and I do this little drill when I'm warming up. And usually I do this after I've hit every club. No, I don't hit every club. I hit like every other club. I start with a 56, then I go to a pitching wedge, then I go to 8-iron, then a 6, then a 4, then a hybrid, 3-wood, and a few drivers. And then I go to my 60. And then I do this little drill. Okay, pretty square. I'm just trying to do this little ladder drill. Where I want this ball as short as possible. Right there, okay? And then my next ball, I just want to fly it just past it. Right there, and so on and so forth. And I just keep climbing the ladder. This one just flies right over top of that one. It's 3. And I keep track of how many balls I hit. So 3, now I'm on, this is 4. As long as it goes, all right. So that's 4, and I keep going and going and going. Trying to get 10, 15 shots before I'm as far as I can hit it. Right, that's 5, and the closer they are to each other, the more shots you're going to be able to have. So I try to have as many shots as I can. 15 would be awesome. Okay. All right, couple questions. When chipping, do you lead with your left arm and the right arm passive? All right. So this is probably going to be, when I'm chipping, both hands are typically working together. Depending on the shot, there's some shots where I use a lot of right hand through it, and that's when I have that thick, rough kikuyu grass, and I'm really trying to get through. I'm really firing with my right side, like that. When I'm down in that thick rough and I just have a short shot, then I'm really just pushing through with my right side, okay? And holding a wrist angle. That's one way for a little shot. That's kind of a specialty shot. The rest, I'm swinging shoulder, okay? Little wrist, you'll see me a lot like this. Like a Jason Day is kind of the mindset I try to have when I'm chipping. Just no wrist, just take it back here. Long putt would kind of be the thought, like a lag putt from 50 feet. That's kind of my chipping thought. Right, so I'm swinging shoulder and body and hips. I'm really not thinking about my arms or my, left arm, right arm. Some people, they think, they're all left arm, pulling their left arm through. And some people have that thought. I get that. You're pulling through with your left arm. You can do that. I would probably not think right hand unless it's a very special shot. like that, you know, thick kikuyu grass I was talking about. Otherwise, for me, it's up here. It's shoulders and hips. That's what I'm thinking. And no wrist, like Jason Day. That's what I like. It's been consistent. I can control the flight. I can turn. I just rotate, and it's really helpful. Okay. Can you show me how to do a high spin cut shot for approach shots? Okay. High spin cut. I'm guessing you're trying to hit a high shot in there. A high, well, you said that, a high cut shot. High spinning cut shot. So a cut shot's gonna have more spin on it anyways, and it's probably gonna go higher. So that's gonna be, but if you want a high one, so I practice this a lot, okay? I get 3 balls, and I really do, this is kind of like the Tiger Woods, you know, school of hitting balls. Like, there's the middle, set up in the center, set up 1 ball back, and set up 1 ball forward. And then I would do that. So let's say I really want to hit it high. I would do that drill, and this would be my 3rd shot. And so it's, instead of setting up at the center, yeah, I'm going to move that. I'm going to roll that 1 ball forward, okay? And then I'm going to get a little more right lateral bend here. And I'm still thinking about rotating to my left side, okay? You can open the face a little bit if you want. That'll help you get it a little bit higher. And then as you swing, you don't want to come down here. You still want to drop that inside. You still want to let that club come from the inside and rotate around. And that's going to really send it high. Hopefully not too high here. It's a 6-iron right now. But you can see that 6-iron hit the top of my net. Whereas my normal 6-iron is closer to the middle. It might have been a little thin, but you know. Yeah, so my normal 6-iron is like 3/4 of the way up, and that high one went almost to the top. Pretty close to the top of the net. I'll do the high one again. For me, I don't typically go and try to hit these higher shots unless I have to. Like a tree's in my way or something. But yeah, your ball's up, 1 ball forward, more right lateral bend, open that face a little bit, rotate around to the left. Yeah, that hit that black piece pretty much, which is the top of the net. So by the time, you know, it reaches its apex, it's going to be pretty high. All right, hope that helps. Actually, how do you have better alignment putting? So putting is a whole different animal in alignment. You've got your feet, but I would do just a quick, here, a little putting alignment. You know, you've got to, I always want my putter aiming, you know, where I want to start the ball. 100%, always, right? And then, again, you could get your alignment stick, throw it down here. You could get both of them. Just so you know you're starting good, put these down like so. Okay, and you, again, get a 3rd one even, or a club or something. The thing about putting though, it's such an art form. Some people like to set up square, so they would have one on their foot and everything's perfectly square and they're right here, right? And then their eyes are directly over the ball. That's some, okay? Some people like to be more open when they're putting. So they would set up more feet open, everything else square, and then just check your shoulder line here. that should be square. Some people do like it open. Very few people set up closed, okay? But a lot of people like to set up open. So you've got to find out what's comfortable for you. Like Jack Nicklaus in his day, I mean, he was down here. Like how do you, whatever, how do you teach that? But it's all feel. But the key is get that club face pointed where you want to start it, and then make sure the path of the putter isn't doing something weird like this. Make sure you're not whipping it inside. A little inside is fine, but outside is no good. So you just want to get that rolling. So I would use a lot of sticks and find out really what is the most comfortable setup for you, and go with that. Because, like I said, putting is such an art form that, I don't want to get you constrained to only, something that doesn't work for you. Whereas the swing, because the club is traveling so fast and there's so much going on down right before you hit the ball, you have to kind of have some fundamental setup, going on that's going to help you get things better. Okay, how can I get better distance contact with a 3-iron? All right. I don't have a 3-iron. I have a 4-iron. Close enough. Here's what I do. I have a drill that I did for long irons. Can't say that. Long irons. And so I would do that drill. But it's this. I do this, the same ladder drill I did with my 60-degree wedge. I want to do that with my 3-iron. Okay? So one, make sure you're set up perfectly, right? Hands in the center. Ball just like it's on my left eye. I'm good, okay? And then I'm just going to hit those shots right there, okay? What is that? 50-yard shot with my 4-iron? That's what I want. 50-yard carry. If you can't hit a 50-yarder 4-iron straight, you shouldn't try a 60-yarder, right? You've got to be able to kind of get it down, and you got to figure out what's wrong. I have no hands going back. Like I'm not rotating that face open. I'm not setting my wrists. I'm not thinking about turning that toe up. I'm not thinking about any of that stuff. I'm just, if anything, I'm trying to keep that club from rotating. I want to be right here. I'm just turning my body here. Okay? That's my thought. So hover that club off the ground. I'm right there. And do 40-yarder, 50-yarder. Then go to 60 yards. Okay? Just like that. 70 yards, 80 yards. Get it to a 100-yard 3-iron. And then you say, oh, that's where I have a problem. Right at 100 yards. What do I do? How do I fix that, right? Because if you can't hit a 100-yard 3-iron, you shouldn't be trying a 200-yard 3-iron. Doesn't make sense. You should be able to get it. And you could say, okay, is it my takeaway? Am I taking it too far in here? What am I doing? Or am I picking it up? Because if I'm picking that up, it's going to cause issues. I'm not going to be able to rotate. So that's going to be, why does this keep doing that? We don't want it locked. All right, let's just adjust the camera here for everybody. Can hopefully get you, all right. It's one of the problems going so early. Gotta adjust cameras. So that's one of my favorite drills. Also, it's just gonna make you a much better ball striker. okay? Your ball striking is really gonna improve because your eye-hand coordination is just gonna get used to hitting that sweet spot. You know, that would be like a 150-yarder 4-iron. And then we go 160 and just keep working it up the ladder, I call it, more and more distance. And then before you know it, you're gonna find, is that too dark? Then you're gonna find your sweet spot, the spot where you hit it the best. There we go. Right? And that's what I do. So I've got a 4-iron. Yeah, I can hit it 220 yards if I want. But a lot of times I'm on course, and because I've done that drill, I'm like, okay, I got 190. The 5-iron just doesn't, there's some wind into my face. I don't know if I can get there. The pin's in the front. So I've got room back. I don't want to be short. Let me take that 4. And then I know I've got, man, okay, it's just a smooth 4, and I don't have to jump on this at all. I'm just, and more often than not, I mean, I hit a pure shot and it's really solid. Again, and that's something I do with my driver also. If you're struggling with drives, you've got to find out where your problem is, because we don't know, right? Look, this is what people struggle with so much. Man, I just can't get that thing right. They get their driver going, right? And what happens is, let's say you're having issues with your swing, your driver, and you think, this is what we all go through, we think like, oh, my issue is this, just because somebody said something to you, right? But if you can't hit this shot with your driver, right here, straight every time, then you know, right? The problem is somewhere in there. It's not up here. That's not the issue, right? The issue is right here. So we have to find out, it's kind of like you have a corrupt file on your computer and it's one of these 1,000 files, like how do you figure it out, right? You move half of them to one folder, keep half of them, like that's the old school way of like figuring it out. Okay, then you know it's in that bunch. Then you separate half again and you do it again and you're searching for where the problem is. You're troubleshooting. Where is the problem? And that's what we're doing. We're troubleshooting our swing. So take it. Look, if my problem is I do this, I'm going to do that right at the beginning, right? So I'm like, oh, okay. So now I know, like I couldn't hit that chip shot. Whoops, right? What's going on? Now, if you do a full swing and you're here, you have time to rescue it and save it. But it's going to plague you on the golf course because it's going to come and go. It's going to frustrate you because you don't know exactly what is the main problem. So you trouble. So if I'm swaying off the ball like this and I'm trying to hit a chip shot and I'm missing, then I know, what am I doing? Oh, okay, because you don't want to sway. You want to, so then I know, okay, I could look at that and say, what am I doing? You could video yourself and you'd be like, dude, I came way off the ball here. So when I hit that chip, I'm back here. See so many of that, all right? So I'm like, okay, let me just rotate instead. Okay, good. Then you could fix that problem. Because your friend will say, oh, dude, you're up here, you're way across the line, but why are you across the line? Right? Why are you across the line? It's that I'm sick. You know, people are like, I'm sick. I need a pill. And I always say, well, wait a sec, why did you get sick? What caused your illness? I don't know. I have a headache. Like people are like, I have a headache. I need an aspirin, right? Well, hold on. Why do you have a headache? I don't know. I just do. I need drugs, right? But you're like, well, hold on. Like, why don't you fix what's causing your head to hurt? Because it was probably something. Maybe you didn't get enough water. So instead of taking aspirin, you could just drink some water. Maybe you drink coffee and you have a caffeine and you didn't drink coffee today, so you got a headache. So you got to figure that out, right? So that's what I do in the golf swing. I'm like, troubleshoot your swing, find out what the cause, the root issue is, and this is how you do it. You want to hit every fairway? This is what I do, and I hit 12 out of 14 and 11 out of 14 fairways last 2 rounds I played. And the 2 I missed were just barely in the rough. And the 3 I missed were just in the rough. 1 was on a par 5, laid up, we're fine. Made a nice par. Right, so just here, you've got to be able to hit that shot. You have to, it's easy. All right, and my forehand 215, great, but my driver has a bad slice. Again, Damien, same thing. Same thing. Typically, it's because one, an iron, you're kind of descending on that ball. And so I would say you probably have a downward attack angle on the ball, which is causing a big slice. You're hitting down on the ball is what I'm saying, and you got to hit up. So set up, make sure you set up at center, and then just get a little right lateral bend here and hit up on the ball. Just focus on hitting up on the ball. Don't sway those hips off the ball, okay? I've got a product I'm doing a review on coming out. It's I did one with the Gen I1 ball. This is another product they have. It's called the Duo Track, and it calculates your hip motion, your hip sway, and your club face. It's pretty cool. So I'm working on that guy, but it's your hip, because the pros, their hip doesn't go this way. This hip doesn't go this way. It goes this way, which in turn makes this hip appear like it actually moves forward. Okay, but it's actually your butt coming out. So this is kind of where you want to be, okay? But you want to right lateral bend here, hit up on that ball, and you should be, it should help you. Because the 4-iron you're going to hit down, the other thing you're going to hit up. Ashton, how to do a better chip shot? All right. We'll finish up here. Hope everybody's going to have a rock and roll day. Better chip shots. Okay, so when I'm struggling with my chip shots, Ashton, I make sure I'm rotating, right? A lot of us, we go like this, okay? And there's no body motion in there. And so you're just flipping your hands, you know, you're gonna miss-hit it more often than not. So again, I have little hands, so I'm hovering the club above, just above the ball. Everything's connected. A lot of times I feel like I'm pushing my shoulders together, right? Right here, not forward, but just inward, like this. I'm squeezing my shoulders together. That's kind of where I feel. And then I could loosen up my hands. And then I'm just rotating through the ball right here, okay? Right there. And just rotate. And that, you know, it's a long answer, or your question, we could stay here all day on, right? Just make sure you're good posture, good setup, rotate. And practice that little shot, that pitch shot. Start there. Start with the easier stuff. That little pitch, because that's gonna work on your body motion. This guy. Okay? And that's gonna be your main shot. And then you could get into a little more, you know, softer technical shots like that, but you have to get that base layer down, that basic body motion. All right? And that's gonna help. All right, last question. What's your number one favorite training aid? Number one favorite training aid. That's a good question. I would say, look, I use these alignment sticks a lot. These I get at Home Depot. They're cheap. Probably that. There's just a lot you do with those. Put them in your bag, carry them on the course, just throw them down. It's something I use all the time. So I would say the alignment sticks are my number one training aid. All right? Anyways, crank it out today. Get your work in. Who's gonna win the PGA Championship? That's this week, right? It's totally this week. Dude, I was picking Ricky Fowler all the time this year. I can't do it. I'm going Tiger Woods. My pick is Tiger. I think he's ready to rock. What do you guys think? Let me know. Let me know who's gonna win. Comment below. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day. I'm picking Tiger. I just have to. I'm hoping. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. I'm out.